Well, so this here is one of the most awaited cars of 2024. It is, of course, the Tata Curvv, and it's here today with us in its EV format. It's not the ICE version. The ICE version will come probably next month or maybe towards October. But this one here today is a car that we've got, and you've already seen this car in pictures on video because there's a lot of hype around this car. If you want to read about it, you can please head to our website timesdrive.in, and of course the link is in the box below. What do you think of the looks of the front end with all these air vents, all these scoops, all these cuts? It really looks smashing. The back end really is a talking point because of that coupe-like design, that sloping roofline and that connected beam of light is my favorite feature. And of course these alloy wheels are special alloy wheels for EVs because these alloy wheels simply enhance the overall aerodynamic efficiency of this car. Now if you see it from the side, you'll see that you get these flush type door handles which look really cool, and of course over here you get this gloss black finish on top of the wheels, which also look good, but glossy finish can tend to show some scratches and stuff like that quite early in their life. So that's something which maybe Tata Motors should have thought about and given it some some other material, not glossy black. This one, as I said, is the cool element, and of course this huge beam of light over here, this beam which connects these two lamps on the corners, really does look very fancy at night. So overall it's a design which looks very cool, very sophisticated and very sporty in the same time. Now let me jump inside and get started with the Curvv EV in today's video. Well, so the first thing that I do inside any Tata Motors cars is simply shut the door, because it offers you a very reassuring and very solid thud noise, which gives you a sense of reassurance and solid build quality, because every time you travel with your family and friends, you will have that sense of assurance that I'm sitting inside a very well packaged car, a very well made car, and a very safe and secure car. So that's something which is quite good. It's a mazboot car, if you want to use that word. The interiors, well, they'll remind you of the Nexon EV. They're very similar to that car, same kind of colors, and of course this huge touchscreen. It really is fantastic to operate. I think this is one of the best touchscreens in the business. And this arcade EV feature that they have, this app system that they have, where they have a lot of apps already, and you can play games and you can do a lot of stuff, very cool stuff on this car. That is something which is quite good. Of course, you can download a book, you can see videos and stuff like that, and it really is fantastic. It also use the AC controls via the touchscreen, which is quite good. It's a nice bright touchscreen. The dials, they're also digital, and of course you can change them. You can change the setting by choosing the different modes, or using these buttons over here. And of course you get ADAS features. Now the one thing which I really like about this car is the quality. The quality levels definitely are one step ahead of the Nexon EV. They definitely seem to be made from slightly better plastics, and the fit and finish also feels slightly better. Top of the dashboard, top of the door panel, everything feels nice. And the seats are really quite good, because they're made from leather material as well as some other cloth material. So these seats really are comfortable in terms of the seating posture, and just in general they offer you very good support. That said, there are a few negatives as well inside this car. One of them is the fact that you don't get any telescopic adjustment for the steering wheel. You can of course adjust it for rake, but not for reach, which is rather surprising. And the second thing that Tata Motors can improve is the fact that this glossy black finish over here is a fingerprint magnet. So if you have a habit of eating lunch inside your car, and then you're changing this AC setting and stuff like that, then you can see a lot of fingerprints over here. So that's something that maybe they can improve, because it looks very cool, but it can attract a lot of fingerprints. But apart from that, it's all positive. You get electrically adjustable front seats, cool front seats, ADAS features, which give you lots of different safety kit, like blind spot assist, adaptive cruise control, and so on and so forth. And of course, as I said, the stitching, the materials, the quality of switchgear, everything is quite good. A panoramic sunroof also makes its way inside this car, and of course you also get a place where you can keep those big bottles while it's charging, different driving modes, and of course electric handbrake along with that auto hold function. And the glove box also is really nice and deep. So overall, I think Tata Motors has done a very good job with the packaging of the car, the quality of the car, and it really does feel like you're sitting inside a very premium and very posh product. Anyway, now let's jump at the back seat and see if that sloping roofline can play havoc with tall people, or if there's plenty of place to stretch your head and your hands. Well, so here I'm in the back seat now, and headroom is surprisingly quite good, even for someone whose my height, which preference is 5'10". So even if you're about 5'11" or maybe even 6 feet tall, you will be quite okay in these seats, because these seats generally are quite good. Knee room also is quite okay. The only thing is that the seats themselves are close to the floorboard, which means that your knees are slightly towards the upper part. It's not a completely 90-degree angle for the knees and the hip, but that's quite okay, because the battery pack, also some part of the battery pack is below these seats, so you have to compromise in that department. You get a Type-C charger, AC vents, and huge windows as well, so it really doesn't feel like a claustrophobic place to be in. JBL speakers, and I have to say that if you're someone who's an audiophile, you'll really enjoy the sound system inside this car. The only thing missing is that, surprisingly, the pockets at the back over here, both sides are completely missing. So that is something which is quite a surprise. I think they should have given that. Knee room is decent. Headroom is quite good, because they have recessed the roof over here. So even though it is a sloping roof line, headroom is quite decent. And this grey and off-white color really does work very well inside the cabin. It's a very soothing cabin. It's a very soothing place to be. And the car's interior feels really nice, bright and airy. It's a very airy kind of cabin. And on long journeys, you will never feel claustrophobic inside this car. One thing missing is central headrest for the passenger over here. Apart from that, I think it is quite a well packaged car, but I'll give it a decent score of 8.5 out of 10 in the back seat. So the front seat gets 9 out of 10, the back gets 8.5. Now let's see how big the boot is and then take it out for a spin. Well, so let's really talk about the boot of this car. The Nexon already has quite a deep and spacious boot, even in the EV format, and this one is even more impressive. It's a nice square and boxy boot. It's a deep boot as well, so you can easily keep those big bags. The seats, they split 60-40. Now at the moment we've kept two medium-sized bags over here. They're not very large bags. They're more or less cabin baggages, but you can easily keep two big check-in bags over here as well, along with these two bags. There's so much space. The only downside is there's a bit of a lip over here. There's a bit of a ledge, so you'll have to put in your back while you keep stuff and take it out. And also, it's a tall car. It's high set from the ground up, so it is a boot where you'll have to really put in effort. One place where you don't have to put in effort is over here, because this is an electrically operated tailgate. So full marks to Tata for that. I'll give it a good score of 9 out of 10. Now let's take this car out for a spin. While we talk about this car's back, I think this connected beam of light really is one of my favorite features on this car. What do you think of the looks? Let me know in the comment section below. Well, first things first, the Tata Curvv EV gets two battery pack options. You get 45 kWh and a 55 kWh battery pack, and claimed range of 502 as well as 585 respectively. Now the power is 150 bhp for the 45 kWh pack and 167 bhp for the 55 kWh pack, and both of them have the same torque figure of 215 Newton meters. Now, with all that out of the way, let's start with the drive review. Well, so here I am driving the Tata Curvv EV now, and I have to say that just like every other Tata Motors car, this one really offers you very exciting ride. The ride quality is brilliant. Tata Motors really know how to tune up the suspensions on their cars, and this one is just as good. Now, as you can see in the footage, the wide section of tire also helps in delivering you a very pliant ride. So it doesn't matter what kind of speeds you're doing. You might be driving at slow city speeds or fast highway speeds. This car just absorbs all those bumpy roads, all those potholes without any fuss whatsoever. And I have to say that this is one of the best cars in terms of ride comfort that I've ever sat in, especially under 20 lakh rupees. Now, what you'll also like, of course, is the fact that the controls are really nice and light. The steering wheel especially is very light to operate and is very precise. It's a very precise and a very dynamic steering wheel. The car also feels quite dynamic when you push into corners, even though it's not really meant to be pushed around into corners because it is a big and bulky SUV. Even then, there is some element of fun to be had in this car. And of course, you can change the different modes over here. You can use the sport mode if you want great performance. You can, of course, use the city mode if you want a mix of performance and economy. And of course, you can use the economy mode. But the economy mode really dulls the driving experience. So really, the sport mode or the city mode is the one to go for. And I have to say that when you put it in sport mode, it really does feel very lively, very dynamic, and great fun to drive. Visibility is good from the front. The side mirrors are nice and big, but at the back, because of that design of that sloping roof and the glass area really is very small, so it's very difficult to look from this window. Very minimal amount of visibility, so that's something that you'll have to live with, and that is something that is part of the package because this car is styled really so well on the outside. So you might be wondering, what are these pedals here behind the steering wheel? because this car doesn't really have a gearbox as such, where you can of course shift gears up and down. Now the reason for these pedals over here is to move around the regeneration modes or the recuperative mode on this car. So in case you want to improve it, you want to put it in maximum regeneration, you can of course use the right pedal. And if you want to reduce it and you want the car to do its own thing and not really brake when you remove your foot off the accelerator, then you can use the one over here on the left. Of course, at maximum mode the range increases, and on the minimum mode the range does drop, which is quite natural. Apart from that, what you really like is the fact that this car's performance really is very good. Now we haven't got any official figures as of now that we can talk about in terms of the outright performance, but I have to say that when I drove this car, it put a smile on my face because it really is very quick. And we recently drove the Nexon EV as well and the Punch EV as well, and I have to say that this car definitely feels one level above those cars. It is above those cars because it has a bigger battery pack and stuff like that, but it just feels a lot more dynamic, a lot more performance oriented. And I think that the youth of India, the performance seekers, the thrill seekers, people who really enjoy the thrill of driving will really appreciate this car, not only in the way it goes from 0 to 100 or it just flies, but also in terms of pure dynamics. It really is a very well engineered car, and Tata Motors really has done a fantastic job with the overall engineering of this car. So what is my overall verdict? Well, I have to say that I think that this is a great package in terms of driving bits. The only thing is the visibility from the back mirror over here is a little poor, but apart from that, different driving modes really make it a great car for people who enjoy driving. Excellent ride comfort makes it brilliant in terms of being in the back seat, and of course light controls means that it is a car you'll enjoy driving on a long day in the city limits as well. Lots of gadgets and gizmos, lots of tech, automatic headlamps, automatic wipers, adaptive cruise control. Really, it is a car which I think deserves all the attention it's getting, and I can't wait to drive the diesel and the petrol version of this car soon, because dynamically it seems to be very well sorted out. Anyways, now time for me to stop this car and give you a pros and cons summary, and of course then a final verdict. Anyways, I'll give this car a strong score of 92 out of 100 in the driving department. Well, so what is my final verdict with the Tata Curvv EV? I have to say that this car is priced really well. It looks stunning on the outside. The cabin really is very plush, and it comes loaded with the latest tech and features. This is one of the biggest launches of 2024 and probably one of its best. 95 out of 100 to the all-new Tata Curvv EV.